Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Run It Back, the show where we try to get things right the second time. On today's episode, we're going to be doing a best of one premiere draft sent in by Black Canary, user on the AGL server. Love their last submission, so we're going to go over another one here today. We'll dive into it now. As we take a look at Pack 1, Pick 1, I'm not really that impressed with too many things here. We've got this Conspiracy Unraveler at the Mythic slot. Blue cards overall, like Candlestick, Mystic Key, Bubble Smuggler, these are all like fine-ish cards I'm not thrilled with. We've got one singular red card, which is not very good. And really the only cards that really even scream anything to me are Tunnel Tipster, probably a pick like 4 or 5 that we're hoping for. Makeshift Binding, very reasonable Pack 1, Pick 1. And of course this Case of the Gateway Express. Now, I do like the Case of the Gateway Express, and it does play particularly well. However, it does tunnel you down into this sort of blue-white or white-red sort of go wide aggressive strategy attacking with creatures. And we do want that. We want cards like this along with like Dogwalker, Auspicious Arrival, these other combat tricks that are pretty heavy laden in the format. So this is very much what the format wants you to do, but you're not really staying open by taking a pick like this. Pack 1, Pick 2, we are instantly rewarded. We see 3 uncommons here, actually 4 uncommons in the pack, and this rare, so that means that our next person either took something off of the list, or maybe a double rare card, or something along those lines in that slot. We see this Wojak Investigator. It is perfect. It's awesome. We love it. Notably, we also see an Inside Source. Not really expecting that one to wheel, but magically, if it does, that'd be great. Pack 1, Pick 3, we do end up picking up this Auspicious Arrival, and this kind of keeps us free of either going blue-white or this white-red strategy. Lightning Helix, obviously extremely powerful, and I wouldn't fault really anybody for taking that, but frankly in this format, this Auspicious Arrival is doing just about as good as the Lightning Helix would do. The only thing Auspicious Arrival does not do is it doesn't go face on an unblocked creature, right? But overall, great card. Highly recommend picking this one up. We've got this Lightning Helix here, and then, of course, the Crovad Haunch would be another one I would look at, maybe, hopefully, potentially wheeling. Pack 1, Pick 4. We see a couple of interesting cards. Deadly Complication, Gadget Technician. I do like a good person of interest. This plays particularly well with our Pack 1, Pick 1 case of the Gateway Express. But with all that being said, can't turn down a good 2-drop in this deck. It's realistically going to be a 3-3 very often, so attacking as a 3-3 is great. Pack 1, Pick 5. I do like having a Karlov Watchdog as some redundancy with this case of the Gateway Express, but in both these cases for the Watchdog and the case of the Gateway Express, we need 3 or more creatures attacking. This is 2 bodies in 1. You do also get a detective for when that matters. Inside Source, perfect pickup here. Pack 1, Pick 6. This is the first time that we've got really nothing in the pack for us. If you wanted to really start to go down this red-white train, I could see Felonious Rage is fine. This can be another detective pretty easily in an aggressive strategy. Forensic Researcher is a detective for blue-white detectives, and also Dramatic Accusation goes down that route, but it looks like Black Canary is going down this mono-white road. I see a black-white card, but realistically, this is a disguised creature that flips up for white-white and then gives something like lifelink. Realistically, this is also a great racer in the format, as flying lifelink is pretty unbeatable, especially when you end up having things like the case of the Gateway Express, and now it's 3 power, or an Auspicious Arrival and it's 4 power. This is really, really tough to race in this format. Pack 1, Pick 6. I see that Black Canary not really in on the Haunch, but definitely in on the Hazda Vigilante. Normally in these aggressive strategies, we don't want to go too expensive with our cards, but this is the exact kind of card I want to be going to top out my curve. That ends up getting some of your smaller creatures in. If we have our Sanguine Savior out, or a Morph Creature, or Wojak Investigator, something like that, it really helps it sort of attack in through board stalls. Also, notably, Seasoned Consultant works out perfectly, turns it into a 2-4, then attacks and turns it to a 4-4, which is really good. You could even put 2 counters on this, because you can stack the counters with the Hazda Vigilante and the trigger with the Seasoned Consultant, and therefore make them resolve in a way that you want them to. That works out perfectly. Pack 1, Pick 8. We take this Crowd Control Warden. Usually I don't much care for Crowd Control Warden in these go wide white strategies. Pack 1, Pick 9. This is our wheel card. not really happy with any of the cards that came back to us, but also noticing we're not really missing out on much. I mean, it was high hopes to have this makeshift binding come back to us, so Innocent Bystander, very reasonable red-white card if we're going red-white. Pack 1, pick 10. Unfortunately, the Inside Source and the Not on My Watch did not come back to us. No shock and surprise there. The case of the Trample Guard maybe could have possibly sometimes come back, but also unsurprising to see it in pick 10 missing. So we take the Orangutan just to kind of follow up on the Innocent Bystander that we just had. Pack 1, pick 11. We take a Morph Creature. It's technically red. We're not playing that card. Pack 1, pick 12. Soul Search. Probably not playing that card either. Pack 1, pick 13. We have a Wrench. All right, maybe, possibly. Pack 2, pick 1. All right, well, red-white it is, I suppose. Krenko is busted. It's super good. 3 power for 3 is just really good in this format. 3 toughness for 3 is really good in this format. Adding haste on top of all the other text here, Krenko is super busted. We can only hope and dream that our red herring makes it back to us on the wheel. Pack 2, pick 2. If we do want to go down the red-white answer, I could see this Meddling Youths. However, Black Canary goes with the Inside Source, just kind of continuing down this road of the case of the Gateway Express. Haas the Vigilante plays particularly well. Crowd Control Warden plays well. Just lots of attack with 3 creatures. Inside Source is great. Pack 2, pick 3. Perimeter Enforcer is the premier 2-drop that you want in these sort of detective strategies. I think we're going to have enough detectives as Inside Sources make the detective, Seasoned Consultant the detective. Haas the Vigilante, not a detective, but pretty much everything else early on is a detective, and we can certainly continue to draft more. Even getting in for probably a total of 4 damage and gaining 4 life out of this thing is phenomenal. Pack 2, pick 4. This is a tough one. I like Meddling Youths. I think it's a good curve topper. I think we're not playing the Rift Battalion nor the Crowd Control Warden in this deck. I do like Haas the Vigilante over the Meddling Youths. However, I do like about 3 total curve toppers, so I like that. One thing to note is this Red Herring is in the pack. I do quite like Red Herring, and unfortunately, it's a pretty contested card with things like Red-Blue wanting it, Red-White wanting it, and even Red-Black also wanting that card. So Red Herring, a bit more contested. Meddling Youths, we might be able to wheel, not this one, but the other one. But both are very powerful. Can't really fault taking the Meddling Youths here. Pack 2, pick 5. Loving on the job. Museum Night Watch is a great other card. I don't think we're really playing a Bullrock Clan Basher in this deck, but we're going wide. We're going to pump them up. I love it. Pack 2, pick 6. We are gifted a Red Herring here. I love this. This is a great sign for us. It says that nobody else is really in those hyper-red aggressive strategies, and so we're going to get this great card in Red Herring. Pack 2, pick 7. Not really thrilled with any of these cards. Would be a lot of fun to do a Field of the Dead deck at some point. Museum Night Watch is fine. You can kind of swing in with impunity. It unmorphs for very cheap. Works overall. Pack 2, pick 8. We have a red creature here. It is cheap. It is red, so we're going to take it. I don't think we play that. Pack 2, pick 9. We wheel the Red Herring, which is wonderful. The exact kind of card that we want to see coming back when we have things like our Gearbang Orangutan and Krenko. These are great. I would have loved a Market Watch Phantom, but I think those sort of things are a bit unrealistic at this time. So Red Herring, great pickup on the wheel. Pack 2, pick 10. Are we a case file auditor deck? I don't think so. We have our Singleton case here. I don't think we're really playing this Shady Informant, so I might recommend actually in the future taking this case file editor and the idea that maybe we end up picking up like a War Leader's Call, a second case of the Gateway Express, you know, things that you might be able to find with it. It might not make the deck, but I think it's a little bit more of a speculation, an easier speculation than a Shady Informant. Pack 2, pick 11, really nothing for us here. Pack 2, pick 12, also nothing for us here. Unfortunately, this Red Herring did not come back, but that's not terribly surprising. Pack 2, pick 13, we wind up with a Curious Inquiry. Pack 3, pick 1. Not a great pack for us. There's literally one card in this Galvanize, which is a great pickup. Happy to have it. Notably, we also see this Sanitation Automaton. I do not want to be picking that first pick, but if it were to wheel on us, I could see us taking the Sanitation Automaton on the wheel. Happy to have it. Pack 3, pick 2, however, now we're getting some good 2-drops. If we said 3 toughness was good at 3, 3 toughness is phenomenal at 2. Being able to collect evidence 2 is pretty free in decks like this. You trade off 2-drops all the time. Collecting evidence 4 is a little bit more tough, but with an auspicious arrival and maybe a 2-drop or whatever, you can pretty easily do that. And other creatures you control have indestructible is busted. This card's great. We love it. Moving on. Pack 2, pick 3. Happy to see some people passing this Novice Inspector. If we're going to be going wide with on the jobs, we want to end up doing something like our Auspicious Arrivals and just generally having lots of white weenies. Having a weenie that ends up giving you a card back is phenomenal. Pack 3, pick 4. We mentioned in our Pack 1, pick 1, we want cards like Dogwalker, so when Dogwalker shows up, we're going to pick it. I do see a second on the job here, and an Auspicious Arrival, and a Case of the Crimson Pulse, and a Reckless Detective. So many cards in this pack, there's maybe an outside chance that one will wheel for us. One can only hope. Pack 3, pick 5, we are still rewarded with a Reckless Detective. I think it's great. Unfortunately, that means we have to pass our Hazda Vigilante here. I would have probably played this other Hazda Vigilante along with our first copy and the Meddling Youths, but you can't really pass this Reckless Detective. It smooths your draws. It gets in pretty easily. It attacks through disguised creatures. Overall, great card. Pack 3, pick 6, and we've got a Makeshift Binding still in the pack. We have found the lane, boys. We are in. We are doing it. This is great. Give me a Makeshift Binding. Happy to see it. Pack 3, pick 7. We see a Case of the Burning Mask amongst some other red-white cards, and I don't hate the Case of the Burning Mask's pick here. It's pretty easily solvable, so we can get that extra card out of it, but double red scares me just a tad, and I don't hate the idea of the Chase is on. We have it on the job, which we want to use as a finisher. We have an Auspicious Arrival, which we want to use as like a combat trick. We already have something like a Galvanize and a Makeshift Binding for some removal sources. And I think the Chases On is probably going to play out just essentially the same as the Case of the Burning Masks, where it removes a creature. In theory, the Chases On can remove something power 4 or 5, toughness 4 or 5 or greater, depending on how other things look. So, but also this can go face. You know, at the end of the game, it draws you that card back. It is more expensive, but it's easier on the mana. I might suggest looking at the Chases On here. This is a really nitpicky pick, but I don't hate the Chases On. Pack 3, pick 8. Love me a Convenient Target. I think this card is busted. On the wheel, Pack 3, pick 9. We get a Bullrock Clambasher. I don't think we're playing it. Unfortunately, we see down here the Sanitation Automaton did not wheel. So say la vie. Pack 3, pick 10. We get a late Person of Interest. Playing that, and that is good. That plays particularly well with our On the Job, our Case of the Burning Masks, and our Case of the Gateway Express. Great pickup here. Pack 3, pick 11. Felonious Rage, good pickup. I don't know if we're playing it or not. Maybe it makes the deck, but it's definitely the pick here. Pack 3, pick 12. 2 blue cards. Pack 3, pick 13. We finish up with the Goblin Mask Maker, not playing that either. Moving over to the deck list, we see a couple of things of note. First off, lots of 2-drops, exactly what we want here. Even a couple of 1-drops in this Novice Inspector and the Felonious Rage. Not necessarily that we're playing either the Convenient Target or Felonious Rage on 1, but it allows you to double spell pretty easily, where you play a 2-drop on 2, and then you play another 2-drop on 2, and then maybe haste it out with the Felonious Rage, or you Novice Inspector on 3. Makes that pretty easy. We've got a couple bombs in the Wojak Investigator and Krenko, which play particularly well together, making clues, sacking clues, making goblins, all that. And then we have our finishers in like On the Job, the Auspicious Arrival sort of thing. So the only thing I probably would adjust in this deck is this Bullrock Clan Basher, I think, or the Museum Nightwatch. One of these two cards they're both good cards. They're both perfectly fine cards. I think one of them is significantly less power than this Hazda Vigilante. Coming down as a 5 mana, essentially 5/5, because it's a 4/4 itself, while also granting a 1/1 counter, and then continuing to attack and put those 1/1 counters on all of your little dorks, whether they fly or just happen to go wide around things. I think having that extra 1/1 counter is huge. I think having it 1 less mana than Bullrock Clan Basher is big. You know, having it be a significantly bigger body than Museum Nightwatch is big. I think that is where I would be. Overall, we ended at 6-3, which is great. Well done on the draft. Maybe those extra little changes might have squeaked out an extra 1 win, but it's tough to say, particularly not actually seeing them. So I hope you had fun. If you'd like your deck or draft reviewed for an episode of Run It Back, feel free to send me over an email at runitbackmtg at gmail.com. Otherwise, you can send over a message on Discord with your 17 lands link. Happy to take a look at it. I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.